Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of the Morris area and our co-sponsors, the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc., Morristown Alumnae Chapter, and our Morris NewsBee of New Jersey Hills Media Group, I am pleased to welcome you to our Morristown Mayor debate. My name is Joy Treef. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of the Morris area and a senior at Randolph High School. I have a strong interest in government and therefore am proud to be a part of an organization that encourages informed participation in our democracy. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization, and therefore we never support or oppose political parties or candidates. Election and voting are our core concerns, and empowering voters defending democracy is our mission. We are committed to providing fact-based information about issues and positions candidates take on those issues to help voters make their own decisions and participate in the electoral process. Membership in the League is open to all ages and gender identities. We welcome volunteers whether or not you are a member. With 100 years of experience, the League is one of America's oldest and most trusted civic nonprofit organizations. So with that, I would like to welcome our co-sponsor for this debate, Mr. Sal DiMaggio of the Morris NewsBee, to say a few words.
Thank you, Joy. My name is Sal DiMaggio, and I am the editor of the Morris NewsBee, part of the New Jersey Hills Media Group family of 13 local newspapers in and around Morris County. The Morris NewsBee has been Morristown, Morris Township, and Morris Plains' hometown source of independent news for several decades. If you're not familiar with what we do, I would encourage you to visit newjersyhills.com/Morris NewsBee or find us in storefronts in town and consider subscribing to our paper. Our mission is to provide in-depth and balanced coverage of all things around the greater Morristown area, including coverage of events such as this forum tonight. We provide extensive coverage of these towns and their school districts, but more importantly, the stories of the many individuals who make up these towns and the issues that affect them. In recent years, we have converted to nonprofit status under our new parent company, the locally owned Corporation for New Jersey Local Media. The organization was founded to ensure the survival and growth of the Morris NewsBee and our sister newspapers so that we may sustain and improve upon our tradition of providing quality local news from trained journalists at a time where local news outlets are disappearing across the country. We are honored to partner with the League of Women Voters of the Morris area to co-sponsor this forum. The League and the Morris NewsBee share a core common mission to inform and engage residents on the local issues that affect their everyday lives. An informed electorate is an empowered electorate, and we thank the League and all of the candidates here tonight for their commitment to keeping the public informed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sal. I would now like to welcome Miss Regina Ashford from the Morristown Alumnae Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. to say a few words.
Thank you, Joy. Good evening, everyone. My name is Regina Ashford, and I have the honor of serving as the president of the Morristown Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a not-for-profit organization founded in 1913 at Howard University. With over 350,000 members and 1,000 chapters worldwide, our work is centered around our 5-point programmatic thrust: economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, physical and mental health, and most relevant to tonight, political awareness and involvement. As a nonpartisan organization, civic engagement and voter education remains pillars of our work, not just during election season, but year-round. We are proud to co-sponsor tonight's debate and provide a platform for open dialogue, accountability, and community involvement. We thank the candidates for being here. We thank the League of Women Voters for the partnership, and each of you for taking the time to listen, to learn, and engage. Your contribution, your participation matters. Thank you and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, everyone. We encourage everyone to go to vote411.org, a one-stop site for information on all aspects of voting in New Jersey, including statements on the issues from your candidates. And please visit our website to learn more about the Morris Area League. Remember to make your vote count in one of three ways. Vote by mail ballot if you signed up for that, vote early in person using a voting machine from Saturday, October 25th, 2025 to Sunday, November 2nd, 2025. No appointment is necessary, or in person on Tuesday, November 4th. This debate is being live streamed on the Morris Area League of Women Voters YouTube channel, and we will be available there for viewing afterwards. Other language captions will be available tomorrow on the stream. We encourage the sharing of the leak's recording of this event in its entirety, but do not allow editing or making public any excerpts from the recording. The league's name, logo, event recording, or any materials from the event cannot be used in a way that could lead a viewer or a reader to infer league support or opposition to a candidacy. At this time, I would like to introduce our moderator, Ms. Joanne Strum. Joanne is a league-trained moderator who is not from this voting district. She will introduce the candidates and outline the format for this evening.
Thank you, Joy, and our sponsors, and welcome to the Morristown voters who are joining us tonight. Thank you, Morristown Mayoral candidates, for your commitment tonight in addressing the Morristown voters' most pressing questions. I am Joan Sturm, and I'm pleased to be with you tonight as your League of Women Voters moderator. It is one of the League of Women Voters' primary responsibilities to ensure that voters are informed about who their candidates are and what their views and priorities are in a nonpartisan forum. Voters have had an opportunity to submit their questions online. These varied questions have been reviewed by the League and this evening's sponsors for length, clarity, and language. Where needed, we have consolidated multiple questions on one topic into a single question. Your specific question may not be asked, but are represented in the questions we are asking. Now let's review the format of the debate. Each candidate will deliver a 2-minute opening statement in alphabetical order. Following their opening statements, I will then ask each of the candidates to answer a question we have received from the public. Questions have not been shared with the candidates in advance. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Tonight's timekeeper, Diane Holland, will hold up a yellow card, which gives a 30-second warning, there's the card, followed then by a red card as an alert that the time is up. Candidates are allowed to finish their sentence. Time limits are strictly enforced. I will say to them, stop, and they will be muted if it continues so we can stay to our scheduled time. Based on the back-to-back Morristown candidate virtual debates tonight, time will not allow for rebuttals. Following the Q&A session, each candidate will deliver a 2-minute closing statement. And now we will begin with the personal introductions and opening statements. I'm going to ask that each of them state their name first so that you can hear their name, and then they will deliver their opening statement. We will begin with Mr. Dougherty. Welcome. Make sure you unmute yourself and start again. Thank you.
Welcome. Good evening, Morristown. For the past 16 years, it has been my honor to serve you as mayor. When I first took office, parts of our towns were struggling. Vacant storefronts, stalled projects, neighborhoods in need of new life. Together, we set out to change that. We doubled down on Morristown's legacy as a transit-oriented town, updating our master plan to ensure new development balanced housing, commerce, and historic preservation. I am proud of Morristown's transformation into the business designation for major companies including Valley Bank, Deloitte, Sanofi, and the upcoming KPMG. Those corporate anchors create a robust ecosystem that supports and amplifies the success of our local entrepreneurs and small businesses. In the last 15 years, we have built 2 new parks, a community garden, and made over $5 million in capital investments to improve our open spaces. Affordable housing, there has been over 200 units built, and additional 87 have been approved for construction. This includes 27 special needs housing units, giving our most vulnerable residents quality housing in our walkable community. As we did all this while holding municipal taxes stable for multiple years, managing debt responsibility and making investments that strengthen services without overburdening taxpayers. Remember COVID? COVID-19 arrived. I issued executive orders well before the state took action to protect public health, limiting large gatherings, directing restaurants to take out only, and standing up to direct communications and assistance to residents in need. All a proven record of steady leadership when crisis hits. In 2024, Morristown ranked 9th in the 50 best places to live for families. In 2022, Livability placed Morristown 30 among the best places in the United States. And in 2025, Motley Fool Money ranked number 2 among cities in incomes, low cost of living. There's a reason why Morristown has earned a repeated national recognition as one of the best places to live. It is easy, ideas are easy, results are hard. Morristown deserves proven leadership that delivers, not
Thank
promises
you.
that disappear after Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. And now we will hear from Ms. Leckberg.
Hi, my name is Andrea Leckberg. Thank you to our hosts and sponsors. And I want to be your next mayor. I'm running as an independent because good people deserve good government. For 17 years, I've owned and operated the Artist Baker on Catano Avenue. When I opened my cafe, I brought something new and a little different to town. Being a business owner connects you to people from all different walks of life. Some are customers, families, neighbors, some are developers, other business owners, and people who have called Morristown home for generations. These genuine connections have led to years of long-term relationships and collaborations. I've worked with Grow It Green, the Market Street Mission, Morris Arts, MPAC, Art in the Atrium, the Seeing Eye. I even had a Seeing Eye dog named after me. And in addition, there have been countless projects with fellow small businesses. And most recently, I was able to be a part of the return of Lafayette. So why am I running for mayor? I believe it is time for something new, something different in how we make decisions and who gets to be part of that conversation. The status quo has been in place for a long time. I don't believe it is serving Morristown anymore. I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Leckberg. And then our third candidate, Mr. Maringolo.
Close enough.
Maringolo.
Good evening. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Morris NewsBee for hosting this event. It's my honor to be here and to have the opportunity to discuss my campaign. Let me give you a little bit about myself. I live next to Lidgewood Park with my wife and our dog Daisy, and I have 2 grown children in their 20s. I work in commercial real estate doing site acquisition for EchoStar Corporation, in addition to having 2 real estate licenses, one in New Jersey and one in Florida. For my formal education, I have a bachelor's degree in computer science from Syracuse University, and I have an MBA from Rutgers. Prior to living in Morristown, I was elected several times to serve my community, gaining over 15 years of experience in local government. I served on the school board, achieving recognition as a certified school board member from the New Jersey School Boards Association, and I've served on town council both as a councilman and mayor. I currently serve the entire county as chair of the Morris County Housing Authority, and I've participated in non-elected roles throughout the years, serving on the Environmental Commission and Scoutmaster for my kids' Boy Scout troop, as well as baseball and softball coach for my kids. I believe we need a new generation of leadership. The current administration is asking for 20 years, and I think that's just too long. I want to create an administration that listens to residents, embraces transparency in government, and makes smart investment choices to keep Morristown affordable, vibrant, and welcoming. Whether it's holding the line on taxes, improving our parks and recreation spaces, or ensuring safe and well-maintained streets, I am ready to meet those challenges head on. And more importantly, I am always of the mind that public service is about people. I will listen and I want to understand the concerns of residents, whether they be homeowners or renters, small businesses or seniors, because there are real problems in our community. And I will stand up for their interests because I believe that together we can build a stronger future for Morristown. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maringolo. Tonight, we have questions, and we're going to lead right into that now, ranging from pilot programs and taxes to the medical center and other expansions, traffic, parking, affordable housing, and sanctuary city for Morristown. So let's get started with the topic we received the most questions on, and that is one of pilot programs in Morristown. We're going to start with you, Mr. Dougherty. We will then move to Bruce and then to Andrea for this question. The questioning will rotate in a random way so that the candidates do not know who will go next, and everyone gets an equal opportunity to go first, last, and following someone different. So we will start with you, Mr. Dougherty. We have many questions regarding pilot programs. For the public, a pilot is an agreement between a municipality and a developer. The agreement spells out the payment the municipality will require for the property instead of or in lieu of property taxes. Unlike property taxes, where some monies go to the school district, revenue from pilot programs only goes to the municipality. Thus, in a pilot program, all revenue goes to the municipality and no monies to the school district, which leads us to our question, a summary of all the many questions we received on this topic. And that is, what is your position on pilot programs in Morristown? Mr. Dougherty first.
So pilot programs play a role in a lot of different aspects. First is a developer can't get a pilot unless he meets certain criteria. And that is so, I guess the word would be looked at financially by experts to make sure they meet the criteria that the state has set forth into allowing pilot programs. An example, if they don't meet the financial criteria in a pilot, they don't get the pilot. So there's benefits to it. And the benefits in Morristown, there's really not a lot of time to explain a pilot. They get bad raps. Pilots are good. If Morristown didn't do a few pilots, your taxes would be about $3,000 more a year per household resident. Also, we were able to fund the MEF, Morris Educational Foundation, about $1.8 million over the next 20 years, which is a great benefit to our school district. Also, that the land tax still goes to the school, and that's a benefit.
Thank you. Next will be Bruce Maringolo, who will answer the same question. Bruce?
So first thing I think most people have to understand is that a pilot is a designation after the property's been designated an area in need of redevelopment. And it's a tool that the town uses to bring developers in to improve a blighted property, right? I don't think that a lot of the pilots that we have would have been not developed if a pilot wasn't there. Morristown is an attractive place to invest, and I don't think a pilot would have been needed in many of these cases to bring in that investment. So I think you have to understand that the mayor and his administration is looking at pilots as a blighted area and as a way to bring the developer in to fix that blight. So the second thing is that schools, their budget is separate from the municipal budget. So whatever their budget is, they basically pass that along. The pilot really doesn't affect the funding for a school. Thank you.
Thank you. And now the last to answer this question is Andrea Leckberg. Andrea.
I agree with Bruce on a lot of what he said. And in addition, if I understand it correctly, our library doesn't get funded, though, when there are from the pilots. So our local library hasn't been properly funded since the last assessment was made. The other thing about pilots, I don't mind them being used for things that like are more affordable. There are some affordable units in those buildings, but basically everything is luxury that those pilots were used for. So I have a problem with that. That's it.
Thank you. Next question. Regarding the Morristown Medical Center proposed large expansion. Here's the question. And first, Andrea, you will be answering the question, Andrea Leckberg, then Bruce Maringolo, and then Tim Dougherty. The question is, the Morristown Medical Center has proposed a large expansion. Are you in favor of approving the project as proposed, or are you in favor of modifying it? And if you are in favor of modifying it, how do you think it should be changed? In arriving at your position, please explain how you came to this position. Andrea Leckberg.
Okay. I'm not sure I have such issues with the expansion overall. I have more issues with how the discussions have been with the residents who live around the hospital about the transparency issues. That's it.
Thank you. Bruce Maringolo, same question.
So the medical center is is vital, but the expansion really can't come at the expense of the neighborhoods. And the traffic that the hospital generates now will only be exacerbated by the expansion. Now, we all want them to maintain, to be top in the state and provide the services that they provide. That's part of the benefit of living in Morristown. But there has to be some dialogue and communication and input from the public, which is severely missing right now. And, you know, when they want to go and do something, it affects a lot of people in that area. And everybody is screaming that they need to know what's going on. So input from the public, more information about traffic, and some type of dialogue between the hospital and the residents so that everybody's informed and everybody has a voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce Marangolo. Now, the last to answer this question will be Timothy Dougherty.
The hospital has had several meetings for the public so far. They still have to have 3 to 4 more meetings. They're in the process of scheduling. We are waiting for them to give us dates for the public meetings. The hospital is important to stay number one, and I do support that. The development has to be well thought out. The construction has to be well thought out. The timing, how the traffic flows through Madison and Franklin. It's mostly important that the 2 neighborhoods that abut it, Franklin and Randolph, and those surrounding areas need to really be taken care of as far as the traffic. State-of-the-art traffic mitigation has to be put into place, and it will be. The hospital plans on having several more meetings with the public, but most important thing is it's the #1 employer in the town, and it's the #1 hospital in the state, and we need to keep it that. It's really good for our real estate values, and when you need that hospital like I did in 2019, you're going to wish it was #1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. And now our third question is still regarding expansion, but it's the broader question of Morristown expansion and its impact. This question will first be answered by Bruce Marangolo, then Timothy Dougherty, and then Andrea Leckberg. The question is, with regards to development and expansion in Morristown, what is your position on future development? In your response, address where development should occur and its impact on Morristown's infrastructure and traffic patterns. When is it enough?
Great question. Thank you. So too many of the large projects are being approved without enough consideration for traffic, infrastructure, or more importantly, the preservation of the historic charm of Morristown. And I think that I will push for responsible, balanced development that preserves what makes Morristown great. But there are certain areas that you could develop, but you really need to understand how the traffic patterns are starting to flow now through Morristown with the M station coming online, as well as now this hospital expansion that's happening. And I think a large scale traffic study to understand some of these things. That would also include pedestrian safety, because a lot of people are crossing the streets with all this traffic, especially in front of the railroad, the train station. I think that all needs to be taken into consideration. So a master plan of traffic is available and thought through before there is more development around town. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marangolo. And now, Mr. Timothy Dougherty, same question.
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. With regards to development and expansion in Morristown, what is your position on future development? In your response, address where development should occur and its impact on Morristown's infrastructure and traffic patterns. When is it enough?
Okay, so if we didn't do the development that's been done over the last 15 years, which is not as much as you may think that we did, some of it was done before I took office, our taxes wouldn't be anywhere near where they are now. That development has been the saving grace to the taxpayers of Morristown in many ways. It's a positive thing for Morristown. The next site to be developed, and it should be developed, and we're in negotiations, and we've been working on it for a number of years, is North Park Place. When that gets done, that'll be the final phase of the green, and it'll look absolutely stunning. So Development will happen. It'll go through the process. Morristown's 2.5 square miles, maybe a little bit bigger, and it's only going to be able to build so much. But the development has been positive, and it's made this town vibrant, and I support it, and it's going to continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. And finally, Andrea Leckberg, same question.
Okay, for development, what I would like to see is something that was for the residents who are already here. I propose something like a community center or senior center, where there's gathering places where friendships and social networks are built. They serve as a neutral ground where people of all ages, ethnicities, and socioeconomic status can meet, interact, and engage with each other. I imagine the same space as a place for seniors. I think we could use something that's going to bring the residents into downtown. And certainly the traffic has to be looked at. I wish they would do a full study and think about the future a little bit more and try to keep the traffic that's just moving through moving through town. Focus on that for one area, and then maybe another part of town, try to develop that for locals. Okay.
Thank you, Andrea Leckberg. The next question has to do with affordable housing in Morristown. And the first person to answer this will be Andrea Leckberg, then followed by Tim Dougherty, and finally by Bruce Maringolo. So the question is, seniors and young people can't afford to live in Morristown. How would you make it more affordable, and how important of an issue do you think it is? Andrea Leckberg first.
Sorry, I'm checking my notes. I think affordability is incredibly important. I like to think about young families starting out here. I think I would. I'm stuck. I'm going to have to stop. I'm stuck.
Okay. Next, Timothy Dougherty. How would you answer that question?
So Morristown is probably the leader in the county for building affordable housing. We've built over 200 units. We have 87 more approved, and plus we're building units for people with mental and physical disabilities. But what's more important is we've partnered with Habitat for Humanity and other agencies to build affordable housing for home ownership with Habitat for Humanity. Also, we have a program because of affordable housing that we've built. We can help people with their homes, whether it's new roofs, whether it's appliances, whether it's furnaces, whether it's heating and water systems. So there is a lot of benefits to what we do with affordable housing in Morristown, and we are one of the leaders in the county in building affordable housing. We are at 20% with anything we build in our community, and we will continue to build affordable housing where we can. We're always looking for opportunities to build affordable housing. And we still have rent control. It's under vacancy control, so people do have places to live with affordable rent.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. And now finally, Bruce Maringolo. Same question.
So affordable housing is a big issue. Again, I'm the chair of the Morris County Housing Authority, so this is a subject that's near and dear. The problem is that Morristown is becoming unaffordable. Over 9% of people live below the poverty line in Morristown, which is unconscionable to me. The mayor mentioned that they've got an affordable housing development plan. I read the draft of their fair share housing element. They're not going to build anything. They've got a present need of 140, a prospective need of 285, and they're just taking credits on existing developments. They're not building anything. It's unimaginable that we would, in a town like this, that we would not try to get homeless people off the street and into affordable housing or lower the cost of housing to the residents that are here. Over 60% of the people in this town rent, and they're finding it hard to make that rent. Thank you.
Thank you. I said I wouldn't do this, but because Andrea had a short answer and because the answers between the two candidates were so different, I do want to offer, if anyone would like to have a 30-second rebuttal on this particular topic.
I definitely would.
And I want to make sure our timekeeper is ready for the 30-second, and she gave the thumbs up. So, Mr. Dougherty, would you like to offer a rebuttal on this?
Sure. Bruce has no idea what he's talking about. We've built over 200 units. We partnered with Habitat for Humanity. We built 4 houses for people to live in their own homes. And also, we're in partnership with the DCA, with the Office of Homeless Prevention. The goal is to permanently house at least 25 individuals by the end of the year. It's a program we don't advertise, but it's a program we're working with the state. So there's a lot of things Morristown that they do with the homeless and for people with affordable housing that Bruce does not know about. But when he says that we have not built affordable housing, he's not telling the truth.
Thank you. And Andrea, I just wanted to give you one other chance if there's anything else you wanted to say on this topic. Okay.
Do I get the opportunity to respond?
If you would like to, we could have one last rebuttal. Yes.
The housing plan is on your website. You are not building anything in this plan. You're taking existing credits. And if that doesn't work, then you're taking a land adjustment. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. So I know our listeners are eager to hear about traffic and parking, and we will get to that as our next topic, but we've inserted one that did come up and is quite relevant right now to what's going on in our country. So we thought we'd include this. Within our state and around the country, municipalities are taking various stances on declaring themselves as a sanctuary city. Should Morristown be a sanctuary city? And as part of your answer, explain your definition of a sanctuary city. And Bruce Maringolo, you do go first with this. And
Sure.
then Andrea Leckberg, and then Tim Dougherty.
So this is pretty straightforward to me. As a mayor, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law and support the laws of the land. So nobody wants to live in fear, but we have to understand 3 things, right? You're going to uphold the law, you're going to show compassion, and you're going to keep Morristown safe. That's really what it boils down to. There's no ability for the town to, put in this, middle ground, so to speak. It's cut and dry here. Whatever the law is, that's what we should follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce Maringolo. And now Mr. Timothy Dougherty. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Next is Andrea Leckberg. Andrea, next.
Yeah. Federal immigration policy has residents concerned, and some are on high alert right now. I will make sure our community has access to information regarding their rights and the resources they need to feel safe. I want immigrants who are engaged in criminal activity to be treated like everyone else who is engaged in criminal activity. I want our community safe. I would get advice from the municipal attorney about any existing ICE contracts and the liability and funding risk to see if we could take on any non-cooperative policies and think if this would benefit the town long term. Then I would decide. I would advise anyone who is concerned and who works with or is friends with immigrants, regardless of their status, that they get educated on what to do if ICE comes to their home or their business. Outreach on this from our local government is very important to make sure everyone is getting the same information.
Thank you, Andrea Leckberg. And now finally on this question, Timothy Dougherty.
So when this was a subject that was tossed around a number of years ago, when towns were declaring themselves sanctuary city, there were some advocates that came out to Morristown and asked us to do the same. But after talking to many pastors and reverends in the town, reverends and pastors and priests in the town, and our Latino leaders in the town, we decided not to declare Morristown a sanctuary city. But we are a fair and welcoming town. We protect everybody that lives here. You have to abide by the law, as Bruce said. I don't want to get his name wrong. So Bruce is absolutely correct. You have to live within the laws and the Constitution of the United States. But we are not declared a sanctuary city. We are declared a fair and welcoming community. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to the topic we had mentioned before, traffic and parking. We have two questions on this. And Timothy Dougherty would go first, then Andrea Leckberg, and then Bruce Maringolo. The question is, how would you address the lack of parking in Morristown and concerns with traffic signals, sidewalks in need of repair, and pedestrian safety? And first, we'll go with Timothy Dougherty.
So a lot of subjects in one question.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Traffic, have you been on 287 at 3:30 in the afternoon? It's a parking lot. If you look at the western part of the county, all the building that's going on from Parsippany all the way up through Lake Apacon and throughout the corridors up in the western part all the way out to Long Valley, you'll see a lot of our traffic is cut through. We did a complete study, 365 days, 24 hours a day. We pinged every car that came in and out of Morristown. Most of the traffic, the majority of the traffic was cut through. Percentage of the traffic was going back and forth from Morris Township through Morristown, back and forth on both sides from Morris Plain to Morris Township, and about 7 to 10% was our traffic. If you want to see Morristown's traffic, Saturday morning and Sunday mornings, walk around town, you'll see Morristown's traffic. That's our traffic. Monday through Friday, you'll see it in the morning, it's cut through, in the evening, it's cut through. We're a vibrant town, restaurants, theater. People are going to come to Morristown. We're going to have traffic. There's parking garages, use them.
Thank you. Now, I did hear what you said, and I heard some support from all of you. So what I will do is I will add another question right after this that will address the parking, which you didn't get to address, and the and any other piece of the traffic signals or sidewalks. So I will let you, Mr. Dougherty, you kind of set the stage in that you were talking mostly about traffic and traffic patterns. So I will divide the question up to make it a little more manageable for all the candidates. So I will ask another follow-on question where we will be talking about parking and then pedestrian safety, if you'd like, and sidewalks in need of repair. So this one is strictly going to be about traffic, and I'm going to let Andrea pick up on that. Andrea Leckberg, how would you address the traffic issue and the traffic signals, if you'd like, and any other piece of this in this question, knowing I'll then have a follow-up on the parking and the state of repair of sidewalks and all. Andrea Leckberg?
Okay, so Tim talked about how a lot of people are just coming through Morristown. They're just driving through or going from one end to the hospital. So I would try to keep that traffic to South Street and to Speedwell and keep it off more residential streets. I think we could try bringing the speed limit down on those streets might help keep people from moving over there. But the problem with the traffic is that people then don't want to stop in Morristown and park and spend their time. So I think the traffic flows have to get figured out. So people can just come into town, come in and park, and it has to be made a little bit easier. I mean, currently, if you go to the Morristown Parking Authority's website, the parking map that they have for you to look at doesn't even have the roundabout on it. It's not even up to date. So
Thank you.
Okay.
I have to stop you there. Thank you. And then finally, Bruce Maringolo, could you please address the question with regards to traffic or related, or any other piece of it that you want to get to, knowing we're going to have a follow-on question on parking?
Okay, so traffic only, got it. So I think the first thing we need to do is time the lights so that the traffic flows through and maybe restrict some left turns. Because if you go over by CDS at 5 o'clock at night, forget it. You can't get through that intersection. It takes a half an hour. So time the lights, prevent the left turn, and that'll get the traffic flowing through. Over by Parsons Village, I think we need to actually put in another traffic light so that the people in Parsons Village can actually get out and make a left turn during rush hour. You know, part of their problem is that the cars just line up and then they're blocked and can't get out. So I think that, you know, if there is a overall study, great. If not, we should do one. But there are certain intersections that we need to focus on so that we can improve the flow through them and keep people moving. Thank you.
Well, it's funny because that exact question was my next one and then I'll do parking. And this is a specific question from the community regarding the traffic at Spring Street, Early Street, and Speedwell Avenue. The intersection of CVS is located where it's located, and there is concern that it has gotten to the point of being unsafe for anybody. Do you have a plan to fix this intersection, or do you think it is a lesser priority? And please explain. So clearly the constituents are asking about that exact same intersection that you were talking about. And the order of this response will be Andrea Leckberg, then Bruce Maringolo, and then finally by Tim Doherty. Andrea?
Okay, that is one of the worst intersections. And I think probably during rush hour, it might help to have police out just moving traffic along in that case. And probably throughout other areas where they need it through town.
Thank you, Andrea Leckberg. Bruce Maringolo, did you want to add anything? I know you did comment, but
Yeah, I mean, basically, the intersection is difficult, but you want traffic to flow through the intersection, and people turning, making lefts through the traffic are really part of the problem. People coming out of Early Street making a left, so you've really got to work with traffic engineers to keep the traffic flowing through there and prevent left turns as much as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty, Timothy Dougherty.
Sure. Thank you. One, got to remember these are state roads, and we're under the jurisdiction of the DOT, which is very difficult to deal with. We've asked the DOT to move the island that is at the top of Spring and 202 to move it back to make an extra lane. They have not approved that yet. We also have 40 feet on the side of Spring Street all the way up to Early Street that is designated for us to eventually put a lane in there. That was part of the redevelopment of that area. Originally, that was going to be a 5-story tenement building. Now is a CVS, which was needed in that part of town because they didn't have a drugstore. Everybody had to come across to the other side of town. So there is something in place, the 40-foot lane on the one side that'll go up, that'll meet the extra lane. Then a dedicated left-hand turn to Early will help that intersection. But we need to pull back that island to make that extra lane. And remember, when you get to the top, you can't make a left going this back down Speedwell. You can only make right. And that intersection has moved a little bit better than it was the last couple of years. So
thank you, Mr. Dougherty.
Yep.
Now, I do have a question that was going to be my final question, but I'm going to include parking, and you can figure out how you want to incorporate them. They could be related. I'll read the question and then I'll add the parking in. And that is cyclists. What is your position on increasing dedicated bike lanes and building strong incentives to make Morristown even more accessible for cyclists? And then you can talk about that in relation to the parking problems that we have here in Morristown. They can actually somewhat be related in either solving or making a further problem. And the answer to that question is going to start with Bruce Maringolo, then Tim Dougherty, and wrap up with Andrea Leckberg. And then we will be, I will give you a chance to talk for a moment about your top priorities and then closing statements. So we're
could you repeat the question, whether it's about parking or cyclists?
What is your position in increasing dedicated bike lanes and building stronger incentives to make Morristown even more accessible for cyclists? And with that, also talk about the parking issue that we have here in Morristown and the repair of sidewalks that we need to have, and pedestrian safety, all wrapped up in the cyclist. It's all a related issue for us here in Morristown.
Okay, again, you got a lot to unpack there. So the cyclists, yes, if we can extend cycling lanes through the town where it makes sense and there's room, absolutely. Plus, we can also get those electric bikes off the sidewalks and into those lanes because they're a safety hazard and it drives people crazy. The parking issue, we need more parking. We need to control parking, and I understand that the MPA is buying some property and they're going to put up a parking garage, but we don't know what the cost of that's going to be. So there's an opportunity, maybe get rid of the Weichert building behind the post office, turn that into more parking or a parking structure or something, because that is the ugliest building in town. And what was the third thing? Oh, pedestrian safety. We need more mechanized safety things on South Street so that the flow of traffic and pedestrians don't intermingle. Right now, you've got people stepping out on Friday nights, Saturday nights is crazy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on that will be Timothy Dougherty, and then wrapped up by Andrea Leckberg.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to ask
Sure.
the question again.
Sure. And I know I added in the parking because we didn't get to address it, but then I decided it kind of worked with a little bit with the bike. What is your position on increasing dedicated bike lanes and building stronger incentives to make Morristown even more accessible for cyclists? And along with that, please talk about our parking problem and pedestrian safety, since they all can be intermingled.
Okay. We have some dedicated bike lanes. We have a bicycle plan in place that was put together by Stefan Armington, the councilman in the third ward, so a great cyclist and very active in that world. Also a former first ward councilwoman who's a big cyclist. We have the share the road sharrows. We do what we can. State roads are tough. There's parking on both sides of the road, so it is tough for cyclists. But we are definitely a pro-cyclist town. And we can do wherever we can do more, we will. As far as parking, people need to utilize garages when they can. A lot of people like to park as close as they can to the venue they're going to. But I always say that, we have a fall festival, we have 30, 40,000 people come. We have a jazz festival, blues festival, we have 5,000 people show up. We have different events throughout the town, our book festival. People seem to find places to park when they want, so it's there. We are gonna, the parking authority is gonna build another garage in lot 10, so that will alleviate some of the parking issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy Dougherty. And then to wrap this up, Andrea Leckberg.
Okay, so about cycling and pedestrian friendly. Stefan Armington did get ordinances and laws passed about about bike safety and how to commute around Morristown. But what I've seen over the years is increase in nobody's following the rules. So I don't feel like, even if the ordinances are there, I don't feel like they're supported by the administration. I mean, I think the town could host street days, some kind of community outreach to make awareness and encourage walking and cycling around town. But I feel like it's gotten worse over the years, even with the ordinances. So I think that our like I said, the town could do more in that way. And then for parking, we definitely need to work on the parking because it's really hurting small businesses. The hair salon around the corner talked about how the meters are set up only for 2 hours and people are there for 3 hours. We need to do something, work with the parking authority to figure out, so all the meters are consistent, all maybe credit card, and just easier for people to add on a few minutes or an hour or two.
Thank you, Andrea. So before we get to closing statements, I want to give each of you an opportunity, if you don't feel you already have, to share your top priority or priorities with the voters who are watching this as a Morristown mayor, upcoming Morristown mayor. So the order for that will be Timothy Dougherty first, then Andrea, and wrap up with Bruce Maringolo. Timothy?
Sure.
Dougherty.
One, thank you to the League of Women Voters for this format. This has been great. Public safety is always number one. One of the great things about Morristown is our crime is very low. So public safety is always a top issue for my administration. North Park, as far as development, North Park Place has been something we've been working on for years. A very tough individual to deal with who owns that property, but we are moving forward with it. There is movement in that area. You saw the council took a position on condemnation if development doesn't get done there. So we are moving. That would be the number one priority as far as getting the green finished as far as development, and 2 to 10 Washington, which is on the left-hand side going up Washington. Traffic is always an issue, working with the state with the traffic signals and timing to get the traffic to move as best we can, and continue to work on looking at studies on how our traffic patterns can be improved. Pedestrian safety is always number 1 and 2. Crosswalks, working with the county on their roads and working with the state on their roads. Unfortunately, Morristown has a lot of state and county roads that go through it, and we're at the beck and call of the DOT and the county. But working with our commissioners and the county would be another priority for this administration in the upcoming. They're going to be building a new courthouse. on Schuyler. So there's going to be a lot of movement going on in our downtown. Just got to make sure that construction and traffic flows well, that we have enough police out there moving the traffic through these developments get completed. Other than that, Morristown's in a great place, continues to move forward. It's a wonderful, beautiful, vibrant place, and we're really happy the way things are right now.
Thank you, Timothy Dougherty. And now Andrea Leckberg.
I think one of my top things would be kind of in response to what I just heard was to really work on those relationships and get a good line of communication with the County Public Works and NJ DOT so we can get our roads repaired and get the crosswalks painted. Because this seems like I've heard it's just been always a continuing issue. And I'm not sure why why it takes so long to get something done, and then why, if it is taking so long, why we can't just do it ourselves, put in the crosswalk. The other thing I'd really like to work on to balance out all the development is look at the residents here, look at the history here, work on preservation, try to find some maybe new historical districts in Morristown that we could work on. Maybe do grant programs for historic homes. I really would just like to bring it back to the town, to the history of the town.
Thank you, Andrea Leckberg. And then finally, to wrap up our questioning section of the debate is Bruce Maringolo. Same question.
Sure, thank you. So I think some of the issues that Morristown facing are pretty clear here, and I think they demand new leadership. Taxes. We just got a bill, 11% increase. Morristown is becoming unaffordable, and families just can't keep absorbing these tax hikes. Homelessness, we see it on our streets every day. It's a difficult issue, both a humanitarian concern and a public safety issue. So we need to do something better there. Public safety, our residents deserve safe streets, safe neighborhoods, and parks. We need to ensure that our police and first responders have the resources they need. The hospital expansion, the hospital is vital for our area. There's no question about that. But the expansion can't come at the expense of our neighborhoods. Overdevelopment, too much of the development is taking away the historic charm of Morristown. So we need to kind of, pull back a little bit and take it into context of the historic nature of Morristown and make sure that we're doing development that's appropriate. And recreation. I live next to Lidgewood Park. Pickleball is a big deal. The mayor almost had a good weekend. Not so much for me, but we take it all in stride. I think that that has to be taken into consideration for the residents, the noise that it creates, put it someplace that isn't going to affect anybody. But there's other recreational issues. The skateboarders, they want a place. The dog people, they want a park. And I think we can achieve all that. So there's lots of issues, and I think that with good leadership, new leadership, and a new council, I think we can get them done.
Thank you, Bruce Maringolo. And actually, I'm going to, since we're doing reverse alphabetical order, you'll now get a chance to kick off the closing comments. So
Okay.
Bruce Maringolo will now be doing closing comments for the mayoral candidate debate tonight.
Thank you for this forum. My name is Bruce Maringolo, and I am running for mayor because Morristown is at a crossroads. Just a few weeks ago, residents opened their tax bill with a letter from the mayor trying to explain away an 11% increase. And that's on top of the skyrocketing utility bills from our failed leaders in Trenton. That increase is over $1,000 more out of your pocket, and it could have been avoided, in my opinion. We simply cannot continue down this path, and as mayor, I will hold the line on taxes by controlling spending and pursue new revenue sources that are not based on taxes. We cannot ignore the rise in homelessness in our community. It's visible in our streets, and it impacts everyone's quality of life. I'll work closely with the county and our nonprofit partners to expand outreach, provide pathways to housing, and focus on addressing the root causes rather than shifting the problem around. Public safety will also be a top priority. Residents deserve to feel safe walking to the train station or walking home at night, and I will support our police with the resources they need while fostering stronger community partnerships so that safety is not just about enforcement, but also about prevention. And I will lean into the hospital expansion issue with a focus on traffic around town. As I've said, Morristown Medical is a critical institution, but growth must be balanced with the needs of our neighborhoods. We cannot let unchecked expansion overwhelm our infrastructure, increase traffic, and compromise the character of our community. As mayor, I will insist on transparency, fair negotiations, and responsible planning that residents' quality of life, so residents can maintain the quality of life. At the heart of my campaign is that Morristown needs a new generation of leadership that puts residents first. I'm asking for your vote along with my council running mates, and so together we can build a stronger future for everyone in Morristown. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce Maringolo. And now Andrea Leckberg.
Okay, I'd like to thank our hosts and Tim and Bruce for participating tonight. I'm proud to have lived in Morristown for 18 years. Morristown has given me opportunities to grow both my business and through my service to our community. There are so many opportunities for us to grow with intention. How people live here, raise their families here, and grow old here is just as important as building new luxury rentals or another corporate headquarters. Morristown deserves leadership that listens and isn't afraid to try something new. Progress doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from pushing boundaries and asking tough questions. That's how I built my business, and that's how I'll lead this town. I'm not here to play politics, and I can't be bought. I'm here to do what's right because good people deserve good government. For information, you can follow us on social media or visit our website, www.andreaformayor.com. And I hope to have your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea Leckberg. And now finally, a closing statement with Timothy Dougherty.
16 years ago, you entrusted me with the responsibility of leading Morristown forward. Together, we transformed many underinvested, neglected areas of our town into vibrant neighborhoods with new housing, retail, parks, and infrastructure. Attracted major employers like Deloitte, Valley Bank, Sanofi, and just importantly, created the conditions for our small businesses and commercial tenants to flourish. Our downtown buzzes with the energy of coffee shops, fitness studios, boutiques, and restaurants that bring daily life and community to our streets. We supported them with zoning that encouraged mixed use, cultural events that draw crowds, and master planning that keeps local commerce at the heart of our economic strategy. We preserved and expanded Morristown's green spaces, from creating Hillcrest Park and saving the Early Street Community Garden to doubling the size of Foots Pond Park with an 11-acre addition. We didn't just buy land, we transformed it. ADA accessible paths, pollinator meadows, new playgrounds, linear parks that connect neighborhoods and support stormwater resilience. Our record shows a clear vision, protecting open space while weaving in into redevelopment so Morristown grows stronger, greener, and more connected for every resident. We also took affordability seriously and delivered. Our inclusionary housing policies have produced hundreds of affordable housing units, and every major development is now part of a long-term solution that keeps Morristown a community where seniors, working families, and young people all have a place, not a promise. It's all a proven record of results. And we did this while exercising fiscal discipline, keeping municipal budgets balanced, maintaining a healthy surplus, and safeguarding taxpayers' dollars as we invested in parks, infrastructure, and public safety. When crises hit, Superstorm Sandy and Hurricane Ida, major power outages, even COVID-19 pandemic, I led with steady, proven leadership, keeping residents safe, restoring services quickly, and investing in a stronger emergency management so Morristown is better prepared today than ever before. I understand the call for a different kind of leadership, emphasizing affordability in small business. I've heard that call and I've responded years ago with
Thank
planning,
you, Mr.
budgeting,
Dougherty.
and results.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It looks like our time is up. So in closing, the League of Women Voters of Morris area gives a big thank you to the three candidates for agreeing to participate in this public forum. And I think doing a wonderful job in conveying their priorities and their concerns for the community. The League recognizes their commitment to communicate with the public about issues that concern Morristown residents. The League gives a special thank you to our co-sponsors, the Delta Sigma Theta Alumnae Chapter of the Morristown area and the Morris NewsBee. And finally, we thank you, the public, for watching. In closing, the League reminds everyone here to vote on November 4th. And in order to vote, you must register by the 14th. There are 3 ways to vote: by mail, in person before the election day, or in person on election day, November 4th. And with that, I want to thank everyone and remind us all to vote. Thank you.
Thank you.